Harley Jones and the Red Oak Chronicle by Edward Ed Smith. The rural hills of southeastern Oklahoma town of Red Oak have been quiet after the frenzy of tiger attacks 4 summers ago. As the terror of such a useless and terrible event wreaked havoc across the landscape, this quiet, any American town that has put its community and soul back together again after such a tragedy. It's been 3 years after the siege, and Harley and his team are still in the employ of the initiative, battered and exhausted from the operational pace that Captain Ross has set before them, and after traveling all over the world hunting the Gugwe. They find themselves in Grand Rivers, Kentucky, circling the parking lot at 04:45 in the morning, setting down in the Hellos in the obscure parking area just outside the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer Field Office. They have been sent into the area to investigate strange occurrences in this zone. Apparently the Face Eaters have become a problem in the area, and the team is going to remedy a solution for the operational sector and the Face Eaters. Harley stepped onto the chopper's side door and, as usual, began barking orders. "Alright boys, let's get the equipment and supplies unloaded and get the LS-3s loaded up. We haven't got all day." Harley began rubbing his right holder. He was in some pain from the mission 2 weeks earlier. Jameson and Big Mike began to load up the LS-3, robotic tactical mules. They're able to carry over 400 pounds apiece, and with the latest versions, they're faster and much quieter than the previous versions. Floyd, Jake, Mitch and Lance were beginning to set up the tactical comms for the 9-man team. Jason and Cale were already on the ground, and they arrived at 0100 hours after cleaning up a mess in Walpole Island, Michigan, just outside Detroit. "Hey boss, any chance we might catch a few days off in the next couple of weeks?" Floyd asked, and then grimaced, knowing what the answer was already. "Yeah, right," Harley snarled. The team was assembled and ready for movement in the area of operations by 0630 hours. The team was to be transported by 5-ton trucks, and the LS-3s were trailered and were programmed to set on the haunches of their 4 mechanical legs, much like a normal house or mule, and then tarped for the movement to the AO. Once they arrived at the sector, they were directed to investigate the team, unloaded from the trucks and walked the mules off the trailer, when the trucks quickly rolled away from the drop-off point. And as the sound of engines waned in the distance, the natural sounds of the forest began to make themselves known. "Lock and load, brothers. Time to go to work," Harley stated in a controlled voice. "Jameson, take point, and Big Mike, back him up." "Now, Big Mike, don't follow too close. I don't want you getting all hot and bothered by the smell of my manhood," Jameson needled. Yeah, you should be so lucky," Big Mike grumbled. "Hey, brother, you got lucky before," Jameson chuckled. "Yeah, well, I was drunk, and the big guy hanging out below my belt needed some," Big Mike stated with confidence. And with that, Jameson farted, and Big Mike walked into the odorous cloud, and Big Mike exclaimed, "Man, you need to wash your ass." "You two hold it down. Get your fucking heads in the game," Harley barked. The order of march was Jameson on point, and Big Mike no more than 5 meters behind, backing up Jameson, Floyd, Jake, Mitch and Lance, 15 to 20 meters behind Big Mike as fire team backup. Harley and the mules 25 meters behind the fire team as team support, and then Jason and Cale some 10 to 30 meters behind the mules, covering the 6. And the team patrolled some 4 miles into the sector of the investigation. Nothing seemed out of place or unusual. And then Jameson raised his right hand and clenched his fist, which is the hand signal for stop in place and go silent. And Big Mike raised his fist in the same manner, and the chain reaction travelled all the way back to Cale. Then Jameson took a knee, and the rest of the team did the same. The mules reacted too, and they sat down on their haunches as well. No one made a sound. About a minute went by and Harley pushed his pressure microphone key on his shoulder and called to Jameson.
"What do you got, baby?"
Crackled in Jameson's earpiece and the other teammates' earpieces as well.
"About 50, 60 meters up ahead. I have a large area of disturbance and, well, it looks like blood on the vegetation."
Jameson reported.
"Jameson, Big Mike, go take a look."
Harley ordered.
"Floyd, take your team and get in position to cover them."
Harley said.
"Everyone else, hold steady."
Jameson and Mike slowly and carefully approached the area. As they moved closer to the area, Floyd and his team moved in to an overwatched position that would allow them to cover Jameson and Mike with their rifles and scopes. Jameson and Mike never spoke a word to each other as they communicated with hand signals and body language. And after several minutes of moving back and forth while checking out the area, Mike pushed the radio button on his shoulder.
"Boss, you're gonna want to see this. Better lock down the area." "Okay, monkey boys. Floyd, establish a perimeter about 40 meters out from this area in question. And Jason, you and Cale, bring the mules up and establish 2 strong points on the perimeter."
Harley spoke casually. Harley began walking up to the area as all the team elements were moving into positions and as ordered. Harley began walking up to the area as all the team elements were moving into positions as ordered by the boss, as Mike calls him. And as Harley entered the area, he sees a real mess with blood and tissue scattered and sprayed about on the foliage and the tree trunks. Trees and bushes broke down, the signs of a massive fight. He walks up to Jameson and Mike as they stood next to the body, or what was left of the bodies, of 2 adult alpha age Gugways and the body of an adolescent Gugway, all of them male and all very dead. Harley looked at Jameson and waved his hand as if to say, "What the hell?" "Looks like the Gugasses had a disagreement with each other," Jameson said in a low voice. Well, Harley looked around and the 2 adults appeared to have their throats ripped out, and the adolescent had its mouth pulled open and jaw ripped almost off. "Gugasses didn't do this. Yeah, they might scar each other, but they don't do this to each other. This is something different," Harley said in disbelief. "Jameson, Big Mike, pull these bodies together, but take pictures and video first of the entire area. Cale, grab 3 cans of M5VP off the mules and bring it over here," Harley exclaimed. "Floyd, you and your team keep your ears up. We don't want anything coming back at us." Harley raised his voice with a nervous intent. When Cale arrived with the cans of incendiary, "I want these bodies burned," Harley sternly ordered. And when Cale, who was the youngest of the team members and was recruited from the safe side battle, seeing what was in this area, he said, "Just where in the fuck are we, Sergeant Jones?" And Harley piped up and said, "We're in the northeast quadrant of Land Between the Lakes National Recreation Area, on the Tennessee and Kentucky border, and we have a problem." A note from the author. I have wanted to revisit Red Oak for a while, but I have been mulling over how to do it, and don't make I seem cheesy. I think I have the right formula now. This one will be released in April, I think, and will be some sort of length, not as long as the original, but will still be a full and complete story. If you remember my bowfishing storyline, then this one will be much in the same palette, but a different critter this time. In the I'll Never Stop at the Rest area in Oklahoma again. Then there's Bigfoot and Bingo Night. It's a tale about Bigfoot's gambling problem. No, it's not what you think. This storyline would include non-fictional elements based on the many reports of Bigfoot hanging around Native American casinos and the casino footage of 2002. Then we have An Unintended Night in Purgatory, Oklahoma. Yes, there's a place called Purgatory, and it's in Oklahoma. And very strange things go on out there. You don't want to be there at night. Ever. This one scared me, and I was just doing the story outline. And the creepy factor of this place is off the scale. So, hang with me, and I will begin spinning these out, and we will have a lot of fun with some chills and thrills. Okay, what happens when a dogman, a Googway, and a Bigfoot go into a bar and tear up the place? Nothing. No charges are ever filed, and the surveillance footage is always blurry. Okay, I'm a little rusty. Until next time, y'all, be safe.